Welcome back to another episode of the Offer Hustle. I'm your host, MC, DJ, radio personality, all of that. Deona Hustle, co-host of Hustle and Shine in the Morning on Kansas City's #1 for that hip hop and R&B. And we are back at week 8. Shout out to everybody that's been tapped in with me, that's been showing support. Shout out to all of the guests that we've had so far. Big love to NSPN, and also big love to Zoo Studios for hosting this podcast each and every week. So the theme of today's topics are going to be geared towards workplace, a little bit about career. Like, do you text your coworkers or your coworkers, your friends, conversations like such? And then we're also going to dive into relevant topics. And I want to make sure I start off recognizing Black businesses, especially a few Black businesses that are my favorite in Kansas City. So first and foremost, major shout out to Headquarters Barber Salon. Big love to them. Major shout out. I'm in there every other month. Shout out to Styles by Niles. Brain Freeze Mobile Daiquiri Bar. Met those guys, I don't even know, a few years back. Been doing his thing. Shout out to him. Ruby Jeans Juicery. Chris Good. He's been holding it down for a very long time now. And then Vine Street Brewing Company. Kemet Coleman. Also UMKC alum. And then the last one on my recognized Black businesses list, Kansas City's #1 for hip hop and R&B, Hot 103 Gems, which is also the oldest continually ran Black station in the country. And on February 22nd and February 27th, they have a series / a documentary called Diamond Jubilee that will be hitting the screens for PBS. And your favorite cousin? Yeah, I'm in the screen for sure. Once again, shout out to NSPN. Y'all peep the angles. Y'all see how we coming. We ain't playing with nobody today. We handling big business. Okay. So first we're going to talk about the relevant topics. And my guys in the background, don't be acting shy like y'all can't grab the mic. The first topic is Tamar Braxton, singer and of course sister of Tony Braxton. She says that she's not dating till her son turns 18. Mind you, this little boy is 11 years old. So you mean to tell me you won't be dating for, what is that, about like 7 years or so? 7, 8 years? Like, that's ridiculous. The men in the room, what are y'all thoughts on that?
So we were talking about this before we started recording. Mm-hmm. I had brought up that just because she says she's not dating doesn't mean she's not actively out with men
outside.
You know, yeah, she's probably still doing her. Just
that's true.
Doesn't bring men around her kids, and I understand. You know, like you don't want to have some random man around your kid. That's not his father.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. That makes a lot of sense because if you are dating people or doing anything with people, and every person that you're encountering, you decide to bring around your kid, whether you are a man or a woman, that's ridiculous. Stop doing that. Especially, like you mentioned, if it's not the other parent of your child. You probably should dial it back a bit because your child is going to grow up and be confused and like, wait, mommy, who's that?
Well, wait, hold on. He's 11 though, right?
Yeah, he's 11.
11 is a different age though because he's starting to lose attachment. I think he is because he's getting ready to hit the teens here soon.
So you think it's okay? Because he ain't going to care.
He's not going to care at 13. I mean, he's like, Mom, leave me alone. Do whatever you want. You know what I mean?
That could be the case.
I mean, unless I don't know the full situation between his dad and his mom.
Of course.
If there was some kind of situation where he has to feel protective. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, if there's still some kind of good relationship that he can just go and, Mom, do whatever you want. I could really care less.
Yeah, I can understand that too. I feel like I wouldn't have cared, but I didn't have to worry about none of that. So shout out to my mama. Thanks, girl, for holding it down. Another topic that I just saw, and I was devastated by this. Joanne Fabric, something does the name. That company is closing. Applebee's then closed 500,000 stores across the country. What else has closed recently? Party City has been closing. It's been all businesses. Red Lobster's dialed it back a bit. They've closed some more. Dollar Tree is still $1.25, and I'm still pissed off about that. Because I've been to Dollar Tree recently, and I ain't gonna lie, that $1.25 be adding up. It's not the same. Yesterday's price is not today's price, and I'm a little bit upset about it. So with all these stores closing, I did see roughly 15,000 companies and businesses across the country in the last year have shut down. That's crazy. One company that I thought about that I wish they would bring back, and I know I might get roasted for this, is Blockbusters. I really miss Blockbusters. I'm a gaming kid, and I just recently bought a old Xbox, and I've been playing like Midnight Club, Double Edition, Fight Night. What other game I've been playing? NBA Street, NFL Street. I've been having the time of my life. But when I was younger, some of them games I couldn't afford. And you know who was there for me when nobody else was there for me? Blockbuster was. I could rent that joint, play it for a whole weekend. I had the time of my life. My nanny would do it. She would be like, no, I'm not buying this game. I put a smile on my face. I'd be like, Nanny, for real? By the time we make it to the register, it's in the car. We already got the game. But if it wasn't for businesses like Blockbuster, I would never play half of the games that I enjoy even today. And those are things that I feel like made up my childhood. Because these games these days are like $150. Bro, that's ridiculous. I don't even want to play it that much for me to want to spend $150. And then most of the time you getting games that you still got to buy stuff when you get it. So you mean to tell me I got to buy VC and buy all this other stuff and you want me to pay $200 because Kobe's on the cover? Rest in peace, Kobe. But like, that's ridiculous. I'm not doing that. We need to bring down the prices of games and we need to open up another Blockbuster because it's not that serious.
Well, the last remaining one is in Oregon, I believe.
It's one still?
There's still one remaining Blockbuster in the States.
Oregon?
Oregon, I'm pretty positive.
See, I want to do like a road trip. Y'all want to hop in the car?
Bro,
go off the coast?
I know there's still like red boxes around.
I hated them red boxes. That was so
I understand they're not exactly the same as Blockbuster, but there's the same concept. Like they have movies and games you could rent as long as you bring them back in there a lot of time.
Yeah, they tried. Redbox really tried.
The thing about Redbox is sometimes you could do cash. So if you could find one that has cash, basically you could get the movie or the game and it's yours.
Oh, I ain't know.
Wait a minute. I have to defend Redbox. I
didn't like Redbox.
I did. I think depending on your situation.
Okay.
Like, for example, like my family was a big road trip kind of family, and we got a little DVD player. So when you go state to state, you can at the time
because you could drop them off at
anyone and then pick up a new movie. So they were super convenient when it came to on the road situation.
Yeah, I was doing like the National Lampoons type of trip, and
we were going 16 hours different directions.
Jesus, how many was it? How many were in the car?
About 6 of us.
Dang.
Yeah.
See, I'm an only child, so that sounds crazy to me. I couldn't imagine that.
Yeah, we used to go on road trips in like a little Magnum. There'd be 5 of us.
That's crazy. I mean, 5 is better than 6. 6 is kind of crazy.
But a Magnum is a small car.
Yeah,
it's a very small car.
Making it do what it do.
Yeah, it got us there, you know.
Yeah, safe and sound. But the Redbox thing, I'm sorry, Mark. Like, he's really trying to defend this Redbox.
I loved it. I thought they were great. Now I couldn't care about them anymore because everything is direct and streaming.
The streaming is getting out of hand.
It is. It's starting to go off the rails, and people might go back to cable.
Nah, I'm with Deona though because the nostalgia of being able to walk into that empty ass Blockbuster store and go and just
get anything,
surf every shelf on there, dude. That was the best, and they didn't even have like the movie covers on them. Sometimes it was just like bold text of what it was with the Blockbuster logos on it.
Yep.
That was the best.
Classic.
Yeah.
It might have been a couple games I never returned, but hey, thank you, Blockbuster, for making my childhood experience special because not every game was about to get bought. And due to you all, I was able to rent. That was major. That was a big deal. Now, switching gears to our conversation about career and workplace. Before I dive in this topic, I want to ask you guys, when you have coworkers, do you make them your friends? Like, say you just run into a coworker and you're just like, man, this dude or this woman, she's really cool. Like, I feel like we can. They're like, oh, let's grab drinks. How do you respond to that?
So, at the job I have right now, I haven't gotten close to my coworkers yet. But at my previous job, yeah, there was kind of like, it wasn't a big like staff. There was like 9 of us tops. So it's not like I'm not seeing someone for so long. Like I'm gonna see you tomorrow. Like so eventually, like obviously, like you don't go to work to form friendships, but when it's so close knit,
it happens.
Obviously, yeah. And then like there had gotten to the time, like to the point where like we were trying to like hang out outside of work, like all the younger like staff, you know. Like, we were like, all right, we're gonna plan this day, get all 5 of us together. We're gonna go here. We're gonna have some drinks, have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, y'all gonna kick it.
Yeah, and like it's cool when it's like that, but it's also difficult because not everyone is around the same age.
Oh yeah,
so you kind of have to work in between everyone's.
Yeah,
gaps.
you got to keep it cool too.
Yeah.
So like, what I say about working and like being friends with people, it definitely depends on the job you have and like the environment. I've held a bunch of different jobs, nonprofit, marketing, of course, entertainment as far as radio, some other stuff. I've done something else and I forgot. Even working for the university. So I've been across the spectrum. One thing I can say when it comes to hanging out with coworkers or those happy hours and stuff, and I'm only speaking from a Black woman's perspective. When you work those jobs, especially when it's not a bunch of other Black women there, those jobs kind of put you in situations where they force you to have to do that. Like, they'll be like, hey, we're finna all grab some drinks. Are you coming? And like, as soon as you say no, now all of a sudden you're like antisocial. And mind you, this is after hours. Like, this is 6:00. Maybe I'm clocking out. I'm finna go home to my friends, my family, whatever it is. But sometimes when you say no to happy hours or extracurricular work activities, they view that as you don't do your job well or you don't want to work here. And I've seen that, but that's just from a Black woman's perspective. Is like, I feel like regardless of, like if you're a minority, period, you already feel like you have to walk into the environment and do better than the norm. And so speaking from that experience, like you already trying to do 110. I can't do 110 and kick with y'all till 10 p.m. But it also is different from my perspective because if I get, which has never ever happened, which will never happen, if I go to happy hour and I get wasted with y'all probably gonna be talking about me the next day. And now y'all looking at me another way. If Becca goes and does that, it's not the same thing. Like, it's just like, oh, that's just Becca. No big deal. So we can't do that. I've always been taught, like, we can't behave as maybe the majority can behave and get away with it.
So you think us as minorities we don't have that option to say no without the judgment?
Not if we're in an environment where we're the minority.
Right.
Yeah, like it's gonna be like.
I agree with that.
Yeah, like Mud's gonna be like, did you see Esai? Like, you had a bottle of Henny, like, right? You don't talk to whatever, but that's how they like. I've been in environments where I was like doing happy hours and I was ready to go. I played the game because we have to. It's like code switching. Like, we have to play the game to an extent, but sometimes it gets tiring.
I've been in a situation where it's only minorities, the entire thing.
And
they're all cliques. They were all cliques, and that's an interesting one because it was a warehouse job, but like one of like the really big ones, like JCPenney's. So
they closing too.
Yeah, I know, but this is the main one branch, like during COVID and everything. But they have their cliques, and it's hilarious because you have like, just to be what's the word?
Inclusive?
No. Like, these are the people that are coming over from the other countries because it's the only job they can get.
Got you.
No, I'm trying to think of the correct word to use here. It's they were grouped. So you had like all the Asians hang out with the Asians, all the people.
Okay, got you. Everybody was with their demographics.
Yeah, there you go, demographics. Yeah, they all literally hung out in their cliques, even though we're all minorities.
Yeah,
and like this group spoke one language, this group spoke a different.
Yeah,
so that I felt like an outsider in that situation. Yeah, but luckily that was just like a do your job, get in, get out.
So. Yeah, and that makes sense though too. I feel like it's always going to be cliques, but if it's a clique, like if it's a bunch of different demographics, people are always going to cling to their race or, people that have similarities with them, visible similarities. Because until you talk to somebody, you probably don't realize that the person that doesn't look like you in a room probably has the most things in common with you. But that's the problem. I feel like we don't talk to each other enough sometimes. We just be like, he looked a certain way. I feel like we don't have nothing in common. I'm finna go to my people and call it a day. But if we have more conversations, we'll be like, oh, this dude cool. He used to go to the same bar that I used to go to or whatever. Or he knows the same people. But we just don't be having those type of conversations. Like, and I feel like that'd be the ultimate thing is people don't want us to unite and be on the same page.
Let me ask you a question, Deona. Would you rather work a job that pays you more, but you're kind of antisocial with everybody, or a job that pays you less, but you're real close and friends with everybody?
It depends on if I'm passionate about the job. So, because I've worked a job that was cool pay, but they were overly social. to me, I felt like I didn't want to do all of that. I'm just here to get a check. So I feel like sometimes you run into points of life where you just want to get your money and you want to leave. That doesn't mean I don't love what I do or I'm not interested. As long as I'm doing what I need to do from 9 to 5, leave me be.
That has something to do with personality type too, though.
That do.
Because like I wouldn't say that like I'm an introvert, but I'm definitely not the person that's like trying to go out of my way to meet new people.
Yeah. I get that. So. I've had a job that I didn't talk so much on this job, and I mean that's what I do for a living, and that's how I am. I'm very social, but I had a job where this one lady had made this comment. I thought it was so funny, and she had saw me do something online, and she was like, "Oh, I didn't like you. You seem so shy." If you know me, you know I'm not shy. But it was just the fact that I was not talking at this job for real. Like I was just there to do my job, and I was really in the shadows. That was the first time I had a job where I just felt like I was just floating. I was just there. But her making that comment just showed me how like disinterested I was in their extracurricular activities, because all I wanted to do was get my check, help them, and get up out the door. And sometimes some companies want you to go up, over, and beyond, and not every point of your life is that.
Some companies have them like big like company-wide events that are mandatory. You know, they want you to go there, have like spend time with everyone.
Yeah. Like spend thousands of dollars for y'all to go kick
like
it.
Allow you like bring your family, but they really just want you to be there, like to, you know, click with everyone and what's the word? Like camaraderie almost, but not really.
It's that culture piece that they always say that they want.
It's like
so like that is one thing that I do think, depending on the job, it is important to have a community built within the employees. Because if you think about it, when people go to these places of business and work, they're with those people more than their own family. Most of the time.
Yeah.
So to be able to build a community base around the employees is important, but once again, you can't force it on everybody, because not everybody's trying to be buddy. They're trying to do their job and go home,
get their check. Yeah. And that's facts. You should have some sense of community. It's just sometimes people force it, like, and they might just be like, "Hey, we got a happy hour every week, bro."
See, but there's some jobs who like do incentives, like, "Hey, come to this, and we're gonna have raffles. We're gonna be giving away stuff." Like they make it worth your while.
Yeah,
almost,
I like when people do that. Like they make it a little bit different, and like you're gonna have your. What is it, like your monthly team meetings, those type of things. Like we're not talking about that. We're talking about the extracurricular party, happy hour. Like we finna kick it, you know, all
when
of those.
When you're not on the clock.
Yeah, when you're not on the clock events, not things that's normally during your 9 to 5, things that's gonna take up time elsewhere. But I'm gonna take a pause. Once again, the theme is still gonna be career and workplace, and I have some questions that were submitted that are related to that. Questions that need answers. That's what we're going to call this. Questions that need answers / double cup. And this time we have an invisible double cup, so don't worry. Okay. I can grab one. All right. First joint says, how do you feel about Teams and Zoom meetings in corporate America? Of course, they're necessary. You have to do the Teams meeting. I got so tired of hearing that Teams noise, the little ding that it does, because I've had several jobs that required, and they use Zoom and Teams, but it's necessary. I've been on some interesting calls where it's like the same thing. Why every Teams call, people that you've been working with for maybe a year or whatnot, it always seems to be difficulty with them putting their camera on or their mic. They're like, "Oh, give me a second, guys." Like we do this every week. There should be no reason why you're having technical problems. You know the Zoom, you know the Teams, but it's all like, it feels like that's like an icebreaker to like Teams meetings. Is people always be like, "Oh, can you guys see me?" And we're like, "No." And they're like, "Oh, give me a second." Like you knew we couldn't see you. Your camera is clearly off. You're lying. Like, come on now.
Where are you really at?
Right, where are you really at? Because I was definitely one of the people, like if I'm taking Teams call, like I took Teams calls else, like I'm moving around, especially when I've had like working from home type of situations. I'm probably at the radio or I'm probably trying to do an interview. Like, I'm not finna just sit here. I'm finna get a bunch of stuff done.
For the people that are doing it from home, they're 100% in their underwear with just the tops on. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe not even that.
Maybe, that's why the camera don't go on.
Yeah, that might be why the camera's not on. But there doesn't need to be, I'm going to say this from deep down in my heart. Every conversation, every project, everything that you do does not always need a Teams meeting. I just want to say that because I've seen jobs overkill Teams. We don't need to talk about this. We're all clear on the assignment. Used to setting up a Zoom or a Teams to talk about the assignment, that we're about to talk about is ridiculous. Just get to the point. Tell people what they have to do and leave them alone so that they can use that time to get it done.
I understood having meetings during like COVID times. That's when
Absolutely.
It's necessary.
Yeah.
But now that like it's not as big, I don't understand why they continue.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm gonna see you in person eventually. Like, you have my phone number. Like, you can shoot me a text. Like,
please don't call me.
Like, we don't have to have this face to face through a video chat. Like, like we could talk over the phone or we can meet up and talk about it. Like, during COVID was when it was needed most, and I feel like now it's not.
I agree.
I feel like at the end of the day, people are just being lazy now.
Yeah,
they just don't want to.
That could be
go
true.
that extra step.
Yeah.
I heard this thing that Zuckerberg was talking about on Joe Rogan, and where he was saying the Zoom meetings kind of were messed up because he said he was someone that did it, but while conversations were going on,
working on,
there would be two people that were part of the meeting that would be talking to each other over text about what the person's saying.
Oh, okay.
So there was just like, yeah, it would just be like, no, there was no genuine part of the conversation
I get
because
that.
if I can sit here and talk stuff about what this person's saying, you're not even fully
and not
taking
comprehend
in
it,
that. And yeah,
and you not know because we're on Zoom.
Yeah, and in person, that's something that like being able to, you know, rebuke something that someone says right to their face is way better than
than Zoom.
Zoom.
Yeah. Communication is easier in person if you have that ability. But it's just like I've seen people just overdo the Zoom and the Teams thing. Instead of just having like one meeting, they're having like 50 about the same thing. Be efficient and be smart. Just because we got Teams and Zooms does not mean you need to schedule out the same conversation 5 times throughout the week.
And then judges be using it and shit for like court. That makes no sense. Yeah. Like, bro, you are supposed
That's crazy.
You are supposed to be.
That does seem convenient, though.
It is, but no, judges are supposed to be in the courthouse.
They do be in the court.
I know, but like that's the point. Like you're supposed to go and talk to him personally, not on a phone call in your car.
There's so many clips of like the people who are on trial getting like in trouble because they got the judge like, where are you right now? Show me where you are right now.
Yes.
And they're not at home or somewhere they're supposed to be.
Or their court hearing is about driving with no license and they're driving on the Zoom call.
Yeah, I actually saw that. It was a guy who was driving but it come to find out his license was valid. They found that out later. Like they gave him a hassle, but that's crazy. Like you are driving and you're in the car in the driver's seat. And the judge is like, where are you at? Like, we're here to talk about your suspended driver's license. I know that's not a wheel that you're behind. Like, that's crazy. Like, that, yeah. Be careful if that's you. Like, if you have a virtual Zoom with a judge, whatever crime you're there to discuss, maybe don't do it on camera.
So, I had seen one. It was 2 lawyers, a judge, and a guy in jail. Mm-hmm. He was like in his cell, like on a Zoom meeting.
Okay. I've seen a couple
of those. So instead of taking them out of his cell to a private room or to the courthouse, he's having it in his cell. His cell comes open and he starts getting jumped in the middle of the like.
I think I might have heard about
in
this.
the middle of the the process. Yes, the hearing. Yeah. There it is. In the middle, so like he literally gets dragged out on camera, and the cops are like. The judge and the lawyers are like, where's the officers? Where's the officers? Like, no, like, you guys knew you guys were doing something dumb and didn't decide to bring him into the courthouse or into his own private room. Yeah. Like, you basically kind of just set him up, like, allowing everyone to see all the technology being brought into his room for the meeting.
Yeah, knowing,
Instead
Well,
of
at
just
least
going
for
that
his
extra
case,
mile.
at least for his case, like
Yeah,
he has
yeah.
proof of it now. That's terrible though.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. I
that's
feel like
awful.
there's advantages and disadvantages.
Absolutely, yeah. No, social media and just technology is crazy, and then social media is its own type of thing. So this one question says common mistakes people make when using social media. Like regarding the workplace, I feel like it's a lot of different things. One thing that I would say that I've seen a lot is people forget that there's always someone watching. Like you're trying to apply for a job, those people have social media, and what they're probably gonna do is look at your Facebook, your Twitter, all of these things. They didn't just do that when we was kids. They're doing that now as an adult. So if you're like crashing out every weekend on social media, you're cussing somebody out, you're getting set out every day, like whatever it is, people are seeing this and they're probably going to be like, like this person's character seems to be in question. Like, so that is, I feel like a common mistake is people think that, oh, well, I'm applying for this job that don't have nothing to do with me handling my business and making comments and making jokes and trolling on Instagram and Facebook. It has everything to do with that. People are watching, and I'm sure somebody that is applying for it, if you're applying for a job, I bet you 9 times out of 10, someone at that company, whether it's the hiring manager or someone who doesn't have a say so at all, is looking at your social media to see what type of person you are. Because even though we act like, oh, we put out a facade sometimes on social media, certain things in there is very much true. Like your friend groups, the people that are under your comments, these are probably your people. So if I see your people talking to you crazy in your comments, I'm going to be like, whoa, what type of time are they on? Another thing that I see that is a common mistake when people, another common mistake people make when using social media. I've seen people try to use it to get a job. Now, I think that it can be good and it can also be bad. You see how sometimes people want to get a brand deal, like, they were like, oh man, I really love Porsche. I make commercials for cars. I want Porsche to see that I want to, that I can make stuff for them. Like if you make a fake ad for Porsche and you want people to tag them, by all means, that makes sense. Because this might be, it might get you a little bit of attention. But like if it's a local job that has a formal process to apply, like application, and instead of you doing the application, you think you can bypass that because you think it's a popularity contest, and you get on social media and you be like, yo, I really want to work at X, Y, and Z, y'all, but they not hitting me back or whatever. Do not do that. That is the worst way to try to get a job, especially if it is like a job that has a formal process. We're not talking about Porsche. We're not talking about something that's out of reach. We're not talking about Beyonce, you trying to work for her team. We're talking about something that you can actually fill out an application for and probably find out the right people to talk to. So please do not use your social media platform to have your friends and family bully the people that work at whatever establishment you're trying to work for and tag them. That's not the way to go. Apply like everybody else and work your connections. And also, please have a good, solid social media presence. If you want to cussing people out, that's not helpful. It's not. Now, y'all in the room, how do y'all like social media wise? Like, do you feel like is your social media private?
So in the beginning, I did have them all private just because I didn't, like you were saying, I didn't want someone that I'm applying for a job to be able to go look and just see like everything that I post, like, because I post a lot of dumb stuff, a lot of me smoking. Like, I don't want to be seen that way to a job.
Right.
But now that I'm in the position I am in, I try to be more out with it because, like, I don't mind if I'm being seen that way now.
Yeah.
Because it's what I want to do with my life. Like, I want that to be out there.
Facts.
And another thing is, when people, like, say something slick or, like, something absurd and they try deleting it, you're not really deleting it. You're just taking it off your timeline. Yeah. It's still in code. It still can be pulled up by the, like, workers. Like, it's not completely gone.
Yeah, it's never completely gone.
Like, what do they call it? No, it's a
that was a good guess. Archive? I don't know.
It's your digital footprint. There it is.
Yes,
digital footprint.
Yes.
Your digital footprint is always going to be there no matter what. Unless you're like some hacker and crazy.
Yeah, don't be a hacker. Don't do that. Unless you want to delete my student loans, then you can all by means do that. I'm not telling you to do that, but I'm just saying if you happen to do that.
So I think for the people that are going the public route on social media, that at least I think this, and I did this with my personal stuff, but you should definitely keep family posts and stuff off of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you kind of want to separate the two just out of protection, because when you have public accounts, you're getting a bunch of randos that you don't know. Strangers,
spammers.
Yeah. So like I wouldn't want like a picture of my baby on my social media.
Yeah.
Which I was one of those parents that try to get my mother-in-law and my grandmother-in-law and my parents to not post my kid at all.
How did they feel? Because I know they was like, boy.
They understood it at first, but they just posted anyway. And I was like, okay, well, whatever.
Grandparents don't care. Yeah, like they're like, I'm posting my kid because you know they got all these people probably like asking to, like, where's your grandson? And
it's just the internet's such a crazy place, bro. It's wild, wild west right now, and I don't think that you just got to be careful nowadays.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. We gonna add to it?
Oh no.
Oh, okay. You grabbed it with some confidence. I was like, oh, he finna really take off. Yeah. He was waiting on it. Okay, never mind. My bad. Okay, one more double cup and then we're gonna take another pivot to another segment. This one says, have you experienced business endeavors that have gone left? To an extent. So I feel like I have not had any like bad encounters of like things that's just like, oh, I'm heated. Like I've seen people handle business poorly to friends of mine and colleagues of mine. So I might have known like, ooh, let me not work with this person because they don't handle business in the best way. So I've seen it. I've had a couple times where it's just like, really? Like y'all didn't need to do that. One of the times it was a situation, this is a long, long time ago, but I had some type of agreement. Now, these were people that I've worked with before, so we had like a verbal agreement and like a text agreement on something. They were supposed to give me some type of percentage on something, and then when it came to finding out the percentage, they stopped answering. I was like, hold up. I'm like, and it took me a minute. I'm like, did I just get got? I called them again. I didn't get no. I'm like, any other time I would have called, they would have picked up for me. But they didn't. They didn't answer. And so after that, I just was like, I'm not finna blow down nobody block for nothing like that. I'm just gonna know next time, like, oh, okay, I'm not finna probably do business with you again. And now I also like, it's a learning lesson. Cause I feel like you have to go through those type of moments to kind of know like, I'm gonna approach it in a different perspective. And there's a lot of people out there that have done a lot of verbal agreements. Cause if you work with somebody before, you feel like you have some type of trust, you're not going to be like, no, you got to sign a contract, especially when you first starting off doing anything, whether you DJing, whether you hosting, whether you, setting up a podcast for somebody. Most of the time you just have some type of verbal agreement, but I got left on the hook. And then there was another time. Have you guys had any like business endeavors that like,
not personally, but like I've had jobs that went south that like I did not. Like I thought there was gonna be like a good environment, like a fun job.
Oh yeah.
And I go in and it's just completely opposite.
It was like, oh y'all wilding in here.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm gone. Like I hate saying this because it's a corporate thing.
At least you're not on camera.
But like the Taco Bell and KFC's, like how there's sometimes they're combined,
merged together.
Oh my Jesus!
That seems like that's a lot going on.
No, I'm not speaking for all of them, but the one I was at.
What happened?
This was prime COVID, and bro, the boss did not care about hygiene, about sanitation, and like. When I went in for the interview, like everything looked official. Like everyone had on gloves, everyone had aprons.
They just had that on to trick you.
Non-slips. Like everything looked, like the manager, kosher. He looked official, And then a month in, and I see the nonchalant, like workers start grabbing food with their bare hands.
They wildin'.
Manager shows up to work in shorts and a tank top and slides.
Tank top.
He's in the back cooking the chicken. I'm just bro, this is not it. Like,
that's foul.
This in the hood, dude.
Yeah. I won't say where exactly, but if you
people know, people know.
If you recognize my voice, you know where I'm from. But it's just.
How long did you work there after that?
like 2 months.
2 months, and you was like,
Yeah,
bro,
I
I'm
was
getting up
gone.
out of here.
Cool after a week.
Bro, no, it was because it was paying weekly, so like I was cool with it, you know. Like, and I was still in high school. It was like I was
Oh
getting
yeah.
I was getting like 13 an hour. I felt like I was on top shit, but I just
Mm-hmm.
did not like the work environment. So it just went so south from what I seen originally. It was bad.
Yeah, that's terrible.
On the podcast side of things, we've definitely dealt with a lot of bad endeavors.
Has somebody just never shown up to a podcast?
Nah, but I mean, we've had some where people were showing up. Well, where the guests would show up before our host, and like the host wouldn't even be prepared.
Oh damn!
They show up late and still take another 10 minutes to prep,
get together.
ready. Yeah, and it was just like a bad look. But I would say like you could avoid all of that if you really vet people before. Like most of the time, it's one person that's passionate about the project that is being worked on together, and it's super important to find someone who can also get as passionate as you about that project, because when it's one person that has all the passion for that project, you're gonna run into problems if you don't vet correctly.
Yeah. How'd you vet me?
Yeah.
How
did I vet you?
What was the problem? Like what made you be like, you know what?
Certain people
she seems serious.
To vet.
She seems serious.
Certain people you don't have to vet as much. So like obviously if we were a big corporation, we had done like background checks and stuff, but like that's not even
I ain't even got no tickets on there.
Yeah.
Good luck.
That's not even vetting to me. To me I've learned that it's less about credentials and experience, and it's more about personality and morals. And
heavy on that morals.
Like you could tell the people who once you find out their motivations, you can start weeding out the good from the bad. And like with you, hustle's in your name. Like
I'm just saying
that speaks for itself. You know? And when you find people that, to be honest with you, it's kind of corny, but it's the like-minded individuals type thing that are the ones that work, because when you got people who are just motivated and hungry to keep going and evolving and growing, those are the best people to work with, because you're never going to get stuck in a rut, because people want to grow, people want to evolve, and that's the beauty of partnership when it works.
And the offer of hustle and NSPN, it works. I'm just saying. Might tell you a joke, but I never tell you a lie.
Deona, we got to get you to say it with some confidence. The NSPN is.
I said it, NSPN. I was trying to do I was trying to emphasize. You did.
Hitch. There was a hitch in there.
Listen, the offer of hustle and NSPN, it just hit like that. You feel me? See, I just jumped out there. I didn't know how I was going. I didn't know what was going to come out, but it worked out.
It worked.
Yeah. See, as long as I didn't say ESPN, I think that's a win. A win is a win. You guys know I mentioned this other business endeavor that I feel like went left, and it worked out, but it was just me being like, you know what, I'm cool. Yeah, like y'all got this. So you guys know if you have like a sponsorship, or someone is like a company is giving you free stuff to give to your audience, you're supposed to give it away to your audience, right? What is something you shouldn't do with that stuff? Also, what's another thing you shouldn't do? Sell it, right? So there was some type of business endeavor that I had a long time ago, and there was a person that was like, you should have been selling the free stuff. Like, I'm like, this is a solid sponsorship. You can't sell, and that's not, first of all, that's not like ethically okay. That's not ethically, that's not it. And if my name is on the line, so if they found out I was doing something like that, as they should, they would stop messing with me. But it was just the fact that I, like, once I realized that that person's morals and ethics was just on a whole nother level, I was like, yeah, I'm cool. That's kind of crazy. Like, you think I'm finna just risk what I got going on because you want to make a quick buck? Y'all gots to be crazy. But that goes into line with, you have to experience those type of things so that you can kind of see like, oh, wow, I didn't even know people thought like this. Like, you really think that that's okay just to make some money. So that was one instance that I had a business endeavor that I just was like, I didn't expect that. I'm a little bit thrown off. Will I end up back in the situation? Absolutely not.
Before you move on, I'm going to add to that. So that's another quality to look at to see if it's going to work out for somebody, is if you realize that they're all about money and a check, that's usually a bad sign.
Bad sign.
If you could find somebody that is willing to put in work without any expectations of a return, that is the most genuine partnership you can find.
Yeah. And I feel like in the entertainment world, we get that all the time because we just want to do it because we love it. We don't care about it at the moment. Eventually we know it's going to pay off. We know what we're doing is going to have some type of return. We know we can monetize stuff on social media, but we're not doing it with the intentions of doing that. And that's part of like when I work in radio, like at Hot 103 Jams, I'm not doing it for a financial gain. Of course, like I pay my bills, but I'm doing it because I love it and I get to work with Brian B. Shining, who is a brother of mine. So it's like, we doing this off of pure passion. We not doing this for no quick buck or nothing like that. Like when you love something, it doesn't feel like work at all. Now, I do want to mention this. Major shout out to Cheryl Winston. She hooked me up with some tickets to go see Tyler, the Creator. Tyler, the Creator came to Kansas City about a week or so ago. Lil Yachty hit the stage. When I tell you, they are rock stars. Like, that was crazy. Lil Yachty got on stage. Bro, like, stumped his way on stage. Stood there for like a minute and 30 seconds. Crowd's going crazy. He doesn't say a word. Doesn't say a thing. Then out of nowhere, he just jumps off the porch and he yells in the mic, Kansas City. They went crazy. They went ballistic. Then there was a new thing that I didn't know because I don't go to concerts with mosh pits. But they were like, open it up. And then when they do that, they literally open up the mosh pit. And when the beat dropped, they run it. Like, it was tough. So I really thought that was super dope. Shout out to Cheryl Winston. Thank you so much for the access to even be a part. And see Chromatopia, Tyler, the Creator, he is dope. Lil Yachty, he is amazing. Shout out to those rock stars. Major shout out to him. And that'll slide me into our Hustle Hidden Gems. I have 3 songs before we get up out of here that I want to highlight. First one, of course, is Tyler, the Creator. Like Him. That song is actually going crazy on TikTok. Make sure you tap in with it. And then Drake and Party Next Door dropped a project. I believe the name of the project is Sexy Songs for You. So just check out the entire project. And then last but not least, Jacquees and Dej Loaf, 2 of my favorites. They have a song actually called Favorite One. Check it out. I'm sure you'll love all 3 of these. Well, you'll love the two singles and then also the Party Next Door and the Drake project. So check that thing out. It's Hustle. I was going to say it's Hustle and Shine in the morning. Also is they're always showing love. 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Hot 103 Gems, which is also 103.3 KPRS. So make sure you check in with it. I appreciate you for hanging with me this long again for another solo episode. Next week, I promise we'll have a guest. And it's going to be really, really interesting. We already got the guest signed, sealed, and delivered. And this woman doesn't even do interviews, for real. So when I tell you want to see next week, you do. Appreciate y'all. And see y'all next week.